your parties. Dropping the hit, kami shararti. Coming the scene like a tsunami.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Haraami United. We're just going to get straight into it, I think, Afsal. How you doing?
All good, man. But yeah, like you said, let's get straight in.
Let's get straight in, man.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened in that 1 week, mate. It has been a week, hasn't it?
Jabbered was, I think, a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah, one of the days. I think it was Sunday last week, So yeah, like I said,
after Newport. So whenever we played Newport.
I think it was on the Sunday, Yeah, I think it was on the Sunday. But yeah, let's start backwards then. So let's start with today's game. 3-0 West Ham. Some people, even within our own, within our own group, even within our own Brown Munde Haraami United group, it was going to be 4-2 or something like that to West Ham, wasn't it?
Yeah, Riz was predicting 4-2.
4-2, and I think I'm sure that's like 2-goal scorers, isn't it? Whoever we play, whether it's West Ham, Wolves, or even
I'm just amazed that he's given us goals at this point. That's my thing right now.
I think before, I think it was without goals. Now I think he's leaning towards a goal. So I think he'll finally turn when he actually gives us a score draw. I think that'll be positive for him. But no, today's game, what did you make of it?
I'm trying my best not to get too excited because we've been here before. We've been here before where we do this, we play well, and then we lose 3-0 to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, look, 3 very good goals. Great performance from Kobe. Garnacho, man of the match. Hojlund, great performance. Licha Martinez, great until the unfortunate happened.
Yeah.
Casemiro looked good. Like, there was a lot of positives.
Yeah, if you look at it now, I mean, excuse me, compared to, obviously the bad run we had, I mean, there's so many of those players that were there and so many that weren't that you just mentioned. So we never had a team, you got to include Luke Shaw in that as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Luke Shaw, Leach and Martinez.
Dalot, he had a fantastic game.
Yeah, he's obviously stepped it up as well. But I'm talking about, the main players even from last season, Varane, Casemiro. Do you know what I mean? I think we've missed him as a collective, and you can see the difference. And I think it's quite funny actually. Obviously, we know the result in terms of Liverpool lost today against Arsenal. Some howlers. Their players made, Van Disney and Alisson, and I put a tweet out there. I'd rather have Onana rather than Alisson, and people just like, wow, this is that the other, but people, that was a joke. But what I was going to say was that you can see with those players back, you can see what Onana try and gives you. Even like today, when the way we were playing out from the back, you could see not one point he's what did you? Oh, he nearly got done there. It was just calm.
You know what? I don't get this bashing of Onana. Like, I get it. People are impatient. People want someone to come in and just straight away be world class. But he's moving from a different league. He's moving from Champions League finalists, and I believe, did Inter win Serie A last season?
I can't remember if they won, but I know they're top at the moment. I think when I last
so
yesterday,
the
stable club who've been on the up, who've been on the up, yeah.
So he can't go from, in my opinion, Champions League man of the match, barring the Rodri wonder goal, because that's what it was, to the shittest keeper on earth.
You know what, I'm of the same opinion. Again, there's a few people in the group, they'll bash Onana, Rashford, Luke Shaw, and all these Maguire and all these players. And again, I've come to the point whereby I just don't think the club is set enough for. I think we've said it so many times, and it sounds boring saying it, to be fair, but I just don't think there's there's nowhere, a culture for any players to thrive, any employee to thrive.
Well, we saw that this week with Rashford.
Yeah,
and his antics.
Yeah, that's another thing. Bloody hell, Marcus Rashford and people talking about him, and then Erik ten Hag, how he's included him but didn't include Sancho. And I was like, come on, people, clearly what he's done.
The reasoning was that Rashford has taken accountability. whatever that means, I don't know.
Like you said, whatever that means, he missed the game. I think it was against Newport.
Yeah, he was dropped for Newport.
Back training for Wolves.
He called in sick or something or other, so he was
when they came back to training because he had a week or so off. And then like you said, he called in sick, but obviously pictures later come out he'd been in Ireland, obviously enjoying himself,
living his best life.
Yeah. Look, he has to take accountability, and by the sounds of it, he has. Yeah. But what amazes me, what normally top clubs do at that point, they actually go as a collective, as a group, and go somewhere in the hot sun, hot temperature, and do a training camp.
Yeah, you'd normally see them in the US or in the Middle East.
Normally, or even like, I don't know. Yeah, it's nowadays normally Middle East because obviously a lot shorter and obviously the facilities are a lot better. I know obviously the City lads, I think they're out in Abu Dhabi, and I'm pretty sure Newcastle might have gone to Saudi for a little bit as well. But our tight ass club, what they would have done, I think they just give the players holidays, and what the players have done, spent their own obviously money, gone away.
They give them a £10. They give them a £10 pay-as-you-go gas voucher. Put the heat on a bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they got some goodie bags with some hand sanitizers from Ineos as well to make sure they looked after themselves.
Can we just talk about that for 1 second?
Well, the hand sanitizers.
The Rashford Ineos situation, because to me, or what I read rather, was Sir Dave Brailsford was present in these meetings with Rashford.
Right, okay. The first time I'm hearing this, okay.
Apparently, he was either present or consulted. I can't remember the words. Either way, he was involved in the process.
Right.
So, from what first came out, depending on who you believe, Rashford was fined between 2 weeks and a month's wages. So, one hell of a night out. That's a hefty bar tab.
And I'm sure he can afford it when he's on about $350 a week, yeah.
And he was to be dropped from the Wolves game. And then all of a sudden, he's quote unquote taken accountability and he's back in the squad. So if you're this proposed new regime in Ineos, he's just walked all over you. Like, player power has just destroyed you there because he's gone, yeah, my bad. What happened again, lads? All right, I'm back in the squad.
Yeah,
he's made them look like mugs.
I think this is why I always you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean?
Just want to say I'm going off reports, by the way. I'm not like...
No. Of course. We're not saying we've got any inside information or anything like that. Like you said, it's report, and this is precisely why I really don't like to comment much on what goes behind the scenes per case. All I suppose I can put it down to is, obviously Rashford has got a good track record with Eddie Ten Hag. Obviously, that Wolves game last year where I think he came, was it a few seconds late or a minute late or whatever, and he was dropped for the first half, came on at the second half and scored, and we won that game. Obviously scored the first goal last week as well. I'm going to say he's a good professional normally. I mean, it would have been so easy for him even this year with so much flack that he's had to say, oh, I'm injured, I'm not well, I can't play, come out of the team for a little bit, take a bit of heat off himself, but he still plays.
Footballers not allowed to enjoy their lives.
No, of course. Look, they're allowed to enjoy their lives.
I feel like that's what social media has done.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. I do feel sorry for the players, but then Marcus Rashford should have been a bit more wiser. He shouldn't have put himself in that situation. He knows full well what's happening. Obviously, I don't know what's happened beforehand because I think we've gone to see Sean Williams. I think one of his ex teammates in the youth system plays in Ireland, and obviously he's a mate. He might have had some games, so this might have been a time where it was convenient for both of them to get together and go out. But what I was trying to say is, again, like I said, even if the club had two pennies to rub, together, the more likely a top club would have gone together as a camp into the heat and done some warm weather training there. Do you know what I mean? And this situation may have never arisen anyway, but that's not taking away accountability from Marcus Rashford because he shouldn't have put himself into that situation. But you know, we're talking about January as well. Was you surprised to see no players? Because I think
Um,
you called it out, didn't you? Quite early on that we
I
wouldn't
think
get
I said it
anybody.
for about 15 days that there was no transfer budget, and I took a lot of abuse. I got a lot of hate,
No, that's not surprising. I think you
but
enjoy it, to be fair.
that's
The way you,
bring
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I live for it, man. You know what it is. I have my fun. I respond. I tend not to respond, but then I
You
have
have
days where I
moments don't you, where
respond
you
to
just gotta, yeah, where you just want to
one
get
or
some
two
more.
guys,
Yeah,
and to be honest, my aim is to wind them up more. That's
yeah.
my aim. Like, I'm done trying to get my point across. I'm done trying
Yeah.
to share my opinions. Like, if you want to come for me, I'm just going to wind you up more.
So
I'm going to
people,
be just as petty.
yeah, and so just so take lesson from this. When you are interacting with Absol, then you're giving you're putting fire to the fuel. So fuel to the fire, should I say? So please don't do it if you don't want
Yeah.
to. Do you know what I mean? You're just encouraging him here. So yeah, sorry, go on.
But yeah, like I said, there was no transfer budget. We saw some pretty significant outgoings. Hannibal,
Hmm.
I believe that's a loan with an option.
I think more or less he's gone there, hasn't
So
he?
it's either an
I
option or
think
mandatory. I can't
I think
remember.
it's an obligation. I'm pretty sure it's an obligation.
Alvaro Fernandez was loan with an option. I remember that because apparently Ineos stepped in and changed the deal.
All right, yeah.
Don't know
Save the
how.
day. Save the day
Yeah,
as
don't know
always.
how they've saved the
Yeah.
day because the guy still went. You had Joe Hugill who went out on loan, scored in his
Yeah.
debut, so fair enough. The
Palestri as
one
well.
that Palistri's gone.
Yeah.
Ahmad almost went, but didn't go, and now still doesn't get in. I'm confused by that. I don't know. The one that really hurt me was Isaac Hansen Aaron.
Yeah.
He's gone to, I think, Wolfsburg,
I'm not too sure. I know. Yeah.
somewhere in Germany. So I'm hoping he can have like a De Bruyne 2 years, and we buy him back or something. But
Yeah. To me, I mean, go on. Finish off.
I'm just, I think I'm just dismayed at the fact that it was all the youth players that went when the senior team players that could have gone, and the likes of Fernandez could have stepped up. Hannibal was already in and around the senior squad. I believe apparently he's had some sort of falling out at Sevilla already.
Yeah, this is what I was going to
Doesn't
say. Yeah.
surprise me.
Yeah,
But it's just
and talking about that point, because I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the senior players should have gone." Hannibal should have had a chance and things of that nature. But I think, like I said, with his attitude of what he already showed at Sevilla, I mean, I'm gonna guess that wasn't hearsay, because I think he didn't even get to play, or he started, or I can't remember what happened. But you could see the reports coming out quite quickly that it's some attitude problem. And this is just semantic of the issues at Manchester United. I just don't think players are good enough. Now, Erik ten Hag, whatever you might say about his ID talent, I've seen this that he's rubbish. It's his players that they've been bought in and things like that, which probably a lot of it is true, but we just don't know what happens behind the scenes, who he was asked for, who he's then offered, and what he had to kind of settle in with. Sometimes a manager will rather have somebody rather than nobody. So we just don't know what's happening. But I think, yeah, and this is why I
it
always
was a
say,
quiet January in general for the Premier League.
you know what? I actually forgot. I think were we playing that day? I think we were playing, weren't we? I think it was Wolves we were playing. And then somebody said, "Oh, it's the last day of the transfer window." I'd actually forgot that we even had a transfer window.
Was the Wolves game on deadline day?
Yeah, I think it was on deadline day. Yeah.
Oh, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, didn't know that.
On the first, and so I actually forgot. That's how disinterested I was, because I just knew nothing was going to happen for us. Nothing of note was going to happen, and it transpired that way as well. Now, like I said, the lot of the most of the Premier League had this same situation. A lot of the teams, but I think there still would have been an option for us to do something if we'd had some kind of money. But I think
Could have loaned Calvin Phillips.
Karim Benzema,
Miguel
he was
Almiron.
floated around as well. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I just think that, I don't know, man. I think there's so many other things that could have happened if we'd had if we'd got things the way we wanted them, if we'd actually got the club sold the way we wanted it to be sold, rather than this pretty 25% investment and all that business. But one of the players that didn't go, and touching back on my point that Erik ten Hag will play the youth players, if they're good enough. Colby Mainoo, I mean, whew, that
What do
lad.
we say?
I think in the other group chats and things like that, I think Ted would back me up, but surprise, surprise, not here. I was saying, look, this season, this kid's gonna get some starts. Do you know what I mean? He'll be playing. People were saying nah. I mean, you could just tell at the in the summer on the US tour, or even before we went to the US, the way he was playing, you could just see he was the cog. And as soon as he came off that pitch against Real Madrid, you could just see. I think every game after that, I think we only won one maybe, and we lost all the rest.
Yes, and I think the
We
only one we won was Wrexham.
no. I think that might have been. We actually lost that game because that was a
Did we lose
second string.
Wrexam?
Remember? Yeah. That was a second string team that would play the next day. I think Johnny
Oh yeah,
Evans
that
played
was
game.
2 games in 2 days because I stayed up for that one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
No, we lost the Real Madrid game. Then I think we lost. I think the only one we won was here. When we played the French
Was
team.
that Lons?
Lons, yeah.
When Onana got chipped.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's the one where Diogo Dalot gave the ball away, and then he got chipped. But you could just see he was a massive miss. And then when he did come back, then again you could see the way he's playing. But that goal on Thursday against Wolves,
Wow.
I mean,
I've seen people saying it's only a goal, don't hype it up. But then these are the same people on Twitter I see saying that Kobe Mainoo's the next big thing, the next best thing since sliced bread. So, one, pick a side. Which one are you on? And I didn't catch the game. I caught the highlights. Wow. Just...
I mean, even today's game, he was just...
The touch, the footwork, the fit, everything was perfect.
Just the calmness. He's 18, 19, 18, I think he's... Just the calmness 18, in his veins. Do you know what I mean? Like I was saying to loads of people, you could just see after the Carabao Cup win last year, which seems a long time ago, which it is almost a year since we won that. You could just see the way Erik ten Hag went over to him when everybody was celebrating, and he should have been celebrating. He went to Colby Mainoo and had words with him. And from that point, you could just see how important he was going to be. And then, but just finishing on, the youth players. Or what about that goal? Alejandro Garnacho and them 3 sitting on the advertising hoarding.
You know what? He was man of the match. He played fantastic. The first goal took a deflection, yes, but look, it went in. A goal's a goal.
It will be given to him. It was on target.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was on target. It was already destined that way anyway, so that was awarded to him. Second goal, another decent finish, and it capped off a very good performance from him. So, as far as I'm concerned, every time we see him, he's got fight, he's got passion, he's got energy, and he's got talent. We just need to harness that in the right way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it's so unfair for these players to be paying so much, and sometimes obviously they need to. But then Rasmus Hojlund clearly been playing too much, especially from the outset. We should be nurtured him. We should have had other players out there. We should have had a Harry Kane for him to be a backup to learn. Rasmus Hojlund shouldn't have been the main man. Bear in mind, he's got some back issues as well. Alejandro Garnacho, again, what a player. He came in last season, but again, you could just see he's not consistent. Because the pressures of Man United, the way they play, the scrutiny that we get and things like that, it takes a bit of time.
Well, if we're talking consistency, then in reality, Hojlund hasn't been consistent. Yes, he's performed, but this is only the beginning of his goal scoring run in the Premier League.
Yeah, and this is why, like I said,
Villa, right?
And this is why you got to kind of introduce them in slowly, but he's been, asked to be played as the main man, and you could see that, it'd be good for him just to come on, get the last 20 minutes or so forth, run, use that energy, get some goals. Whereas right at the beginning, he's obviously running around. Obviously, as the way we've been playing has been rubbish, and he's probably, used so much energy. So when he does come to finishing, or getting into position to score, he's just not been there purely just because of obviously I think the energy he's been spending. But again, Kobe Mainoo as well, you know. I think it's hard to drop these players because of the way they are now playing, but it's taken a few months,
I
time
wouldn't
for them to
drop
get in there.
them. For me, they are the first three names on the team sheet, if fit.
Yeah, look, I think as talent and as our better players, then they start 100%. But we know, I think, was it Garnacho in midweek that was taken off? And I was saying, one of the lads, oh, why is he taking him off and things like that? And I was like, well, we've got a game 3 days later.
Yeah,
Um,
it
you,
proved to be a smart decision.
yeah, and they're like, oh, forget that game. You know what I mean? We've got to win this one. And I'm like, I get it, but then that's why, it doesn't help when you're players or when you play things like Football Manager. We think we're all great managers, but this is real life. People got any, real
Hey,
life.
I am a great manager, okay? I am a great manager.
Well, there is that one guy, isn't he? He's in France, who's a great football manager, and now he's turned
Yes,
himself a
Will
career.
still,
Is that his
because
name?
there was a meme going around that he played Football Manager, then got his coaching badges, and then it was like he manages Reims or Rem, I don't know, one of them
Yeah.
clubs. And it was like he's 18 games undefeated, 14, and there was just an ongoing countdown of how many games he's undefeated until he lost.
Look, so it happened. So absolutely, man,
Yeah.
you still got time. So after Eric Ten Hag, it's going to be you, man.
Yeah, maybe.
Keep getting those minutes in. So yeah, I think that, like I said, I think that when they sat together on that hoarding after Garnacho's first goal, Rasmus, Alejandro Garnacho, and Kobe together, the new Trinity.
That's
Let's
it.
hope so, man. Do you know what I mean?
If you lock them guys down, well, obviously nothing is given, nothing is a guarantee, but if you lock them guys down for the next 10 years.
But we've got to help them. We've got to get smart decisions and things of that nature. Things have got to fall far away as well for that to happen. But one of the things that might help us, moving on from Manchester United, I think, which we never touched upon, we never got a chance to on the last podcast, is Jurgen Klopp leaving. Again, like I said, they played today, Arsenal v Liverpool. They lost 3-1. What do you make of it?
I was shocked, I'll be honest. I think it caught everybody by surprise, Liverpool fans especially. I mean,
I think he only signed a contract, not last season, just the season before, I think.
I think year before, but I think it's up end of next season. Again,
Right.
Don't quote me on that, but that's just roughly what I heard at the time. What do you say? Like,
I mean,
I think it blindsided everybody.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction, and I'm being honest here, was I was gutted. This is just in my nature, and I said it there before that I want us. If we win something, I want us to beat the best. Do you know what I mean? If I'm gonna win something, I want. I hate it when opposition teams players, their best players, aren't playing. This is what I used to be like. It's because you want to test yourself against the best. If you win, you want to beat the best team that they had. Like,
Absolutely.
do you know what I mean? Don't get me
Like when
wrong.
we beat Barcelona, we beat
Yeah,
the best
last
available
year.
Barcelona.
Exactly, and that it makes it that bit much more sweeter. Like, do you know what I mean? So Klopp leaving, I was quite gutted, to be fair, in that respect. But then
I was gutted for the league more than anything.
Yeah, he's a character of nothing. I mean, me personally, I've never warmed to the guy. I don't know
I can't
why.
stand him.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I like that. But as what the guy's done, I mean, I will say what he's achieved. I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, he's won one Champions League and one Premier League.
One FA
Well,
Cup,
major
one Carabao Cup,
Carabao Cup,
and
and I'm sure
the
he's won a Charity Shield and maybe a Club Cup, a World Club,
Club World Cup, maybe.
maybe.
I don't. And a Super Cup, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, but the main ones are the Champions League and the Premier League.
Which they won in 2 separate seasons, even though they like to pretend they won them
Yeah,
as a
the
double.
treble, their treble.
Yeah.
That was their treble. I remember that in Van Dijk. But for 9 years, I mean, would you say should he be getting accolades that he's getting? Bearing in mind, other teams have also done the same. In that same period, I think Jose Mourinho won a league with Chelsea. Sorry, what's his name? The ex-Spurs manager.
Pochettino,
No,
Tuchel, Conte.
Conte. He won, I think, the Premier League as well. Whilst Klopp was there at Chelsea, then Tuchel won the Champions League. So, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Jose won a Europa League and a League Cup
Yeah,
in 1 year.
So I mean, for all this great footballing team that Liverpool were, they've only really won one league and one Champions League in those 9 years. I mean, why do you think Klopp gets so much plaudits?
Because he plays a brand of football that everybody loves. High pressing, high tempo. Get on the, don't let them breathe. Don't give them an inch of grass. It's the gegenpress style, and I think that's why he gets the plaudits he gets. No, rightfully so. The guy's a fantastic manager. Let's not take anything away from him, right? Because me or you would maybe not, with the exception of managing Liverpool, we'd love to have that kind of career.
Yeah, of course.
The guy won titles at Dortmund. He ended the Bayern Munich dominance, and then he left, and Bayern dominated again. And look, since that day, I've had one question in my head
about Liverpool,
about Klopp.
Okay,
was he a flop? Because
I see. I like what you did there. Was Klopp a flop?
What? 4 trophies in 9 years.
4 or 5, whichever ones, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. And them 4/5/6 came in a 2-year span. So that's 7 years, no trophies.
Yeah, and I think I saw the stat as well. I think out of the 6 or 7 years, we finished above each other. One season they finished above us, then the next we finished above them, then they finished above us, and then we finished above them. Something silly like that, and that's in there because last year we finished above them, and they finished above us. That obviously the year before when they went that quadruple they were trying to go for, and I think the year before that we finished above. That's when Ollie had finished second. So yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. Bearing in mind, we've been appalling in those 10, 11 years, or the 9 years that Klopp's been there. We've been appalling. So I'm going to answer that question. I don't think he's been a flop. And I think the reason why I say that is because we have to remember where Liverpool were. I think was it 30 plus years they hadn't won a league title. So
when he first came in, they were celebrating draws at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So I think they've come a long way.
And at West Brom, I think Anfield, when they all joined.
I remember that. Yeah.
Their hands together and things like that. And look, and I think part of that was, I think it sounded stupid at the time, and it looked stupid for people outside. But I think what he was trying to do was just that siege mentality of, look, we've got to celebrate these together. We've got to get these wins, because I think we know ourselves as Man United fans, the way our players are. Mentality has a massive part to play. So I think he's done fantastic. But then I also think he's been helped with the owners 110%, because they brought in.
Look at the squad he had when he took over, and look at the squad he's got now.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's left.
Yeah, look, and I don't think it's about the money because I think we spent more than them. And, in Chelsea in the last 2 years, they spent more than them in their whole entire 9 years that Klopp's been there. But what I'm trying to say was they got astute signings, appointments right, such as Edwards. I think
Fantastic.
there's always that famous a little story whereby Klopp wanted certain other players, and he didn't want the likes of Salah and Gini Wijnaldum. I think it was one or two others. I can't always remember them.
I think it was. I
I know
don't know
Salah
who
was
it was
one.
exactly,
I know Salah
but
was one.
I think Klopp wanted Muller, either Muller or Sane,
Mm.
and Edwards got him Salah instead.
Yeah, something like that. Salah and some other players as well. And don't forget the first part of Klopp's reign, he made so many flop signings. There
Oh,
were so
God.
many flop, and they were awful. And like I said, I think then when Edwards then start making his name. So what I'm trying to say is that he was helped from above as well. Do you know what I mean? Working with his sporting director and got some signings in. But like I said, if you look at post Liverpool, post Klopp, what do you think will happen with Liverpool?
I think the Liverpool fans are in for a rough ride. I think they are embarking on their post Fergie era because not only did you lose Klopp, you lost Michael Edwards. You then lost his deputy in Julian Ward. As well as Klopp, you're losing all of Klopp's team. So Pep Linders and all them lot are all going as well.
That confirmed? Are they all going or?
Yeah, they're all.
Okay.
I mean, I have a theory he's going to end up managing Germany. I just think Nagelsmann's not good enough. Nagelsmann's contract's only to the end of the Euros. Kind of makes sense. But
Yeah, I personally think he definitely takes the year out. Or well, he's not. I don't think he's stipulated a time. I think he just says a break. But I think he'll end up at Real Madrid.
replace
I
Carlo.
think Don Carlo will go to Brazil eventually if Pep doesn't go there before him, because Pep won't take over Spain, so he'll go over to Brazil potentially one day. But I actually think Liverpool will be okay. I think they'll be fine. Like I said,
They've got a good setup, but the one thing I'm going to throw at you is something you always say to us.
go on.
That Fergie team. RVP, winning it by 12 points. Ferdinand, Vidic, Evra, all them names.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Fergie left, it fell apart. Bearing in mind when Fergie left, Gill left, Rennie Mullenstein left, Mick Phelan left. Probably others as well that we weren't privy to left.
And this is the thing. I think even if you look at going way back when as well, if you look at Arsenal, when did they start faltering? When was their last league title? I can't remember the exact date, but it was
the
soon.
Invincibles.
Yep. Like I said, I can't remember exactly. But it was soon as
2003.
2 or 3, I think it was something like that. Because then we went on. Then Chelsea won. I think Jose come in 1-2. Then become. But what I was trying to say was David Dean, when he left Arsenal, he was a massive important cog to that wheel as well. Now,
Invincibles was 03-04. Just
03-04. Oh, okay. So the reason why I always use Fergie because Gill went as well, but Fergie was Mr. Manchester United, and obviously Gill, obviously was his right hand man. They both left, and like I says, even with David Dean when he left, Wenger was left on his own, and that's when you saw these signings that Wenger was probably making, and they weren't working out exactly where I think David Dean used to rein him in and things like that. But this is what I mean with Liverpool. I think they'll have all the CEO that still be placed. The owners will still be in place. I think the director of football and things like that will all be there. It is literally just the manager.
Edwards rejected them.
Yeah, Edwards rejected. I think they've got somebody at the present moment in time. I'm not too sure exactly it is. But what I'm like I said, I think they will make more. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're going to continue as they are. I think they will have a dip, but I think it
won't be as bad as ours.
Exactly. It won't be because I think they've got structures in place where I think they can cushion the blow. Obviously, somebody like Klopp who's
Do
been
you
there
think
for
a few of the
9 years.
players leave?
Yes.
Who do you think leaves?
I think Salah leaves. I think
Chalk
Van
him off to
Dijk
Saudi.
leaves. Salah either Saudi or Real Madrid. I don't think
Van
Real
Dijk could be
Madrid.
Germany.
I think Van Dijk will actually go to Barcelona. Me personally, a lot
Can
of
they
Dutch
afford
do
him?
go to Barcelona because they've afforded many people over the last 3-4 years, and somehow they managed to.
Yeah, true.
So I think some of their senior players, Alisson maybe, I'm not too sure, but I definitely can see Salah and Van Dijk leaving, and I think don't be surprised even if somebody like Trent Arnold leaves as well. Again, I think
I
he only
can see
leaves Real
Trent going
Madrid.
Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid. With his best mate Jude Bellingham being there. But like I said, I think they'll be fine. I think if they bring Xabi Alonso, because he's been doing well, not just by Leverkusen. I forget where he was before that. He'd done well there as well.
Sociedad.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
think.
Sociedad, wasn't he? He was doing quite well there. Was it Sociedad? I don't know. It was one of the Spanish teams. But
Sociedad or better, one of them two.
yeah,
I think it's Sociedad.
and then I think again, then he'll come, and then I think he'll eventually go to Real Madrid after maybe Klopp. Obviously, depending on how he's getting on, but he looks like he's a decent manager. So,
Well,
and I
look
think
who Alonso was coached by.
yeah,
Mourinho, Pep, Ancelotti, probably Tuchel at one point. Obviously, maybe Klopp. I can't remember.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about Klopp. I don't think
No, it
so.
wouldn't have been Klopp at
No,
Liverpool.
but
But
he's
yeah,
obviously doing well.
and I think Jose said as well that he's got potential to be like a great manager.
Yeah, and look, he's doing the top of the Bundesliga at the present moment in time. So
Aren't
to
they
be
still
fair, like
undefeated?
I'm not too sure.
Let me check. Carry on, I'm just going to check this.
No, I'm not too sure. But all I can say is I think they'll have a better process of dealing with the departure of Klopp than what we did, whatsoever.
They are still undefeated.
They're undefeated in Bundesliga.
Yeah, they're top by 2 points. 16 wins, 4 draws.
Fair play to them, man. Fair play to them.
So they're smashing it.
But let's enough of Liverpool. Like I said, I'm hoping that they fail and they have the same.
I'm hoping to get Steven Gerrard.
Yeah. No, but by the looks of it, I think even the pictures you
Stevie
boys
G
shared
and
today,
Carragher.
I think even the pictures that were shared today in the group, I think he's loving life in Saudi. So I think I don't think he's going anywhere, is he, at the moment in time?
Hendo came back.
No, God, yeah. But I do fear if they do get Xabi Alonso, like I said, I think they'll just be fine. But moving on from them, closer to home. What's happening with this with takeover and things like that, Manchester United? I mean,
well, as it stands, it's the 4th of Feb.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not the tender offer. The votes were due today.
Okay.
For I think it's midnight tonight is the deadline.
Right.
Again, could be wrong, but that's US timing, so I think it's like 4 a.m. here or something. I don't know. Votes were due today for the amendment on the Articles of Association, which is basically the thing that says that Jim can buy the B shares and they stay B shares.
Stay B shares, yeah.
For that, but it's for one transaction only.
One time, yeah, because I know there's been so many
weird
and pros that people have been saying that their onwards, if it is agreed that whenever Jim buys these B shares, they'll stay as B shares. But I think in the articles it quite clearly says that it's only a one-time
transaction, yeah.
Which is obviously the 25% or whatever, 29 that they buy the Glazers. Okay, so they should be by midnight tonight, hopefully, and then they'll be all collated, and then no doubt we should hear something tomorrow, Tuesday maybe.
Meeting is tomorrow, so probably hear something on Tuesday. The tender for the shares deadline, well, the offer expires midnight on February 13th. Depending on who you buy your shares through, deadlines vary.
Mm-hmm.
I know mine was the 12th of Feb.
Right.
I've already responded, so you know.
So in terms of selling your shares, your
Yeah.
percentage of your shares, right? Okay.
I'm keeping mine.
Fair play.
Jim can't have mine. I'm sorry.
Do you know what I mean? It's not about the money here. Do you know what I mean? See,
That's
for
out
us,
of pettiness and principle.
you know what? If it doesn't go through, we know who the person's responsible for that. So we'll have to thank you, Absal, for that. Yeah, because I think hopefully we'll hear something soon. But
There's been a lot of movement though on the market. A lot of
yeah,
shares being bought up.
I know there's a particular fund, Ursa Fund Management.
Yeah, it's Capital Management or Fund Management LLC.
I think they're a California-based fund,
They're a
I
small firm
believe.
though.
Yeah, there's only small. I think from last
Very
time I read,
small
I think
firm.
there's only 2 to 3 assets that they're managing or something of that nature.
And they bought, I think, 400,000
400
shares.
plus. I think so.
Call it.
Basically, I think it equated just under $8 million worth of shares they bought, didn't they?
Yeah, so one, where the hell have they come from? Two, what's the play? Because the market, as we've seen, is rocky at best. By the looks of the market, it doesn't like the gym news. I would expect the price to go down once the deal completes. So why are people buying in now?
I think obviously, having not done my calculations because I really can't bother to. I think a lot of people are saying that even if they get to sell their certain percentage, that overall there'll still be at least for some gains, and that profit that they do get, they might reinvest back into buying the remaining shares, however many shares, and they hopefully then later on down the line there is a buyout, and those shares they'll get more money for it. So I think that's one avenue. But yeah, it's very peculiar for people generally, especially
Because there was
retailers.
small blocks of trades that have been going for weeks,
Mm.
and it was like 100,000 shares, 10,000 shares, 50k shares. Like things that aren't
They were
noticeable.
constantly, yeah.
Like, but it was kind of balancing each other out. Someone would buy some, someone would sell some.
Yeah. Well, that's what the market is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody's got
So
to be
held
available to buy. Like yours,
it
you
held the
didn't choose to put
price.
yours. You didn't choose to sell yours, so nobody can buy them off you.
I
But if
doubled
you want
down. I bought more, did I?
making
I
sure
bought
that
more
Jim
when it
doesn't
dipped.
get you know what I mean, gets less and less. But yeah, I think all we're saying is that's all we. I don't think we were really going to say much more, are we? I think
There's
it's
no more
just
we can
peculiar.
say. Like, look, everything's already out there in the public.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people messaging me asking about this correctional filing and the SEC and the Qatari's involvement with that. Look, it's that I would assume is between the SEC, the Qataris. There will be legal involvement and the Glazer family. That won't be getting leaked to your Ben Jacobses and your Fabrizio Romanos and your Mike Keegans. The SEC will not allow that.
Mm.
So that'll be under lock and key, bulletproof glass, you name it. I doubt they'd let that leak out until they want to make a statement on that.
But yeah, it's got, like I says, I don't know whether it's just me because I've taken a step back, or don't get me wrong, I'm still trying to keep my ear to the ground. But for the last few days, I mean, well, look, even today's game, we didn't get none of the Ineos lot. Which I found quite astonishing, really, bearing in mind, it's the game before the anniversary.
No, because Banksy tweeted that. Banksy got loads of hate.
What about them not attending the one game before the
he
anniversary?
questioned the fact that they weren't
anniversary.
there, and people like, this isn't the time to question it. People are just being haters, right? But look, I think the point behind his tweet, and remove your blinkers, take away the hate, just read the tweet at face value. What he said was the Glazers never showed up for the Munich disaster memorials that happened. The Glazers didn't even show up for the games, unless, as we know, the club funded all-inclusive trips and private
And it was a
jets and
final
whatnot.
or something of that nature, yeah.
Or it was a final, or I don't even. Did they ever show up to preseason games in the US?
I think 1 or 2 they did. But
Yeah,
again, that was just
probably
for
like the Madrid
training
games
and things
you
like
know.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, if you look at it on face value, that's all he said. He said the Glazers never showed up, and there's no sign of Ineos. Surely this would have been prime time for Ineos to show face and basically a bit more PR and earn a bit more respect. Because me and you certainly don't like the Ineos deal or Trawlers deal or whatever it is. And there's a lot of people out there like that. But had they shown face, I would have thought, I'm not saying I would have jumped on the bandwagon and flip-flopped, but I would have had a bit more of a positive response to them because they've done something that Glazers have never done. And people said to me, but they spoke to the fan groups. So they spoke to Must, who are notoriously hated. And they also spoke to the 1958, who apparently stand for Full Sail Only and Glazers Out. But you're endorsing a 25% invest. I don't know how it works. I couldn't care less. But
Yeah.
like,
I think
it's not like he spoke to common folk. Like, he didn't get a focus group of fans inside Old Trafford and sit with 200 people and learn their names and their kids and their dogs' names and whatnot. It's everyone's acting like he's the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have had them there today. Just like you said, just I forget the show. Do you know what I mean? Just for themselves, they surely they should have been there. Maybe they'll come on Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe they'll be there on Tuesday. But I
Is
know
Jim allowed to stay in the UK that long?
Well, hopefully it's out of his 90 days that he's allowed. He has that one day that he comes for. But today I think he might have been at the Chelsea game, hence why, he couldn't come today's game. But
that wasn't a great result, but
but yeah, they weren't there for the Wolves game either. 2 games that we actually won and we played well, actually, not too bad. I know they've been to some of the other games and they've, we've not lost, but yeah, I think our better performances were obviously on Thursday, the dramatic game, and then today as well. But like I said, look, let's hope they're there on Tuesday because that's when it'll certainly count. And things of that nature as well. But I don't think they're having a good time of it late anyway. Ineos, I think they've lost one of their main flagships as well. Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari.
That's again, I was shocked. I was just like, whoa, right, what? That's like Figo.
When he went from
Barcelona to Madrid. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's that level. Like, I'm not condoning anyone throwing a pig's head at Lewis Hamilton, by the way. Just want to put that out there before people get ideas.
Do you imagine that on every corner? Every corners are in F1.
We'd have no races.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it wiped out a big chunk off the Mercedes.
Their stock market valuation.
Or did it increase I think it increased Ferraris.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it rocketed, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm sure bought the shares there. Like, yeah. Yeah. But what I was gonna say, look, I just find it quite amusing, really. Again, I'll go back to I'm not a what? How can I put it? Everybody knows my thought. Jim Ratcliffe, I would have been happy if it was 100%, because it got the glaze out, and I would have hoped for a better future, and that would have been hope. But it certainly wouldn't have been any belief, because Ineos' track record gives me no hope of anything that they've done. Like I said, cycling, and that was many moons ago. But any of the other kind of investments that they've made, that they're meant to be, got good control of and decision making, they've done nothing. And I think this kind of Lewis Hamilton one just kind of compounds it. I found it more amusing, really, more than anything. You know,
I had a good laugh.
yeah. Look,
But
I
I
think
was also like this. There was wild theories like, oh, they've let him go so they can divert the money to Man United and sign
what
Mbappe. And I was like, all right then.
was actually being said.
Twitter, innit?
Yeah,
Everything gets said on Twitter.
Everything's whatever you do and say on Twitter is factual. Yeah, I just found it quite amusing to be fair. But look, I think poetry in motion it will happen with Hamilton at Ferrari. I think it's a great thing. I think he's actually gone to a proper red team, and it'll be interesting to see how Ineos and the boys play this one out, man. I think Sir David Brailsford will need to spend more time over at Ineos than he will at AMG, than he will at Manchester United, because I think they're going to lose it even further. So,
well, what's Blanc going to do in all this?
Well, you know, he'll sell some more
because
shirts.
he was meant to be getting a board seat, wasn't he? United.
United. Yeah, look, like I said, let's see, man. I just can't see anything positive really happening. But I think I've just got to that point now. I really don't care. Do you know what I mean? I've just been enjoying these last two games. I've always said I've had no hope whatsoever of getting any results, but as getting results have made me happy. And again, I do find it quite amusing when people will say, "Oh." I don't think anybody said it to me, but I've read tweets to other people saying if you can't back this in your deal, then go and support somebody else, which I always find amusing.
Oh, I've seen a few of them,
which I find amusing because then I'm saying, okay,
normally the word flag shaggers in there somewhere.
The flag shag. Oh my god, yeah.
Telling me to go support Newcastle or Man City or PSG or any of the other Arab-owned clubs.
Yeah, and the logic just doesn't make sense because we're saying we're not happy with these people coming in as we're not happy with the Glazers, but these people aren't happy with the Glazers, but then still support Man United, so they can do it. So they can be unhappy with the ownership.
Oh, they can buy tickets, but me and you can't fund the club in any way, apparently.
Do you know what I mean? We can't fund the sponsors and things like that. And these big Glazers out, they've made a massive impact that the Glazers are still staying. But it always amazes me. Do you know what I mean? The logic, but nobody can actually sit there and have a logical conversation and say things have happened. But look, I think what we are both positive of is, the last couple of results have been quite good. Obviously, we're not going to get giddy. I think it's
Villa Park's not an easy place.
Yeah. What do you reckon the result will be?
3-1 Villa. I don't know. Listen, they could rock up.
Did you just read what Riz's mentioned to you something, or was that you?
Didn't he say 6-2? Something like that. But look, they could turn up at Villa Park and they could have 9 injuries. Do you know what I mean? Anything could happen. We could turn up and play that. I don't know. It's again, I'm checked out. I'm more focused on. I just want the takeover over and done with.
Yeah, I think it's hard to do or think or have any faith in anything until that's still looming and still all the
typical Glazer fashion. It's ground you down. It's and me and you were resolute for a while, and we just I think we had more hope than anyone else, and it's just kind of gone.
Yeah. I think, like you said, it's just worn us down to the fact now. And there's some people out there still got their wild theories, and I think we're enjoying watching and reading them. People behind masks and things like that. So we'll keep riding on your crest, your wave on that as there. But yeah, let's end it there. I think you said we'll lose. I think Riz has already said that we're going to lose. I'm going to put Aki's going to say we're going to lose as well. So I'm going to say we're going to win. Do I believe it? No. But look, if we do win, I'm going to say, I told you so. But everyone, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.